Hello, welcome to All for United WFC. And as if by magic, I think I've managed to push every button that I'm supposed to push today. So hopefully people can see us in the comments. Hopefully people can see us all over the show, to be honest with you. But what a day we've had, what a week we've had, what a time to be alive when it comes to football and Manchester United. Women's Euros have begun, which is absolutely superb. We've seen some fantastic football over the course of the last 3 days. As a result, we've got plenty to talk about. And we're going to kick off literally just by saying hello to the three fantastic fans that we have got here today. Again, yes, TJ, pushing buttons again. That's what I do. So, Marty, first things first, how are you doing? You all okay?
Muted.
Of course it's muted.
I've muted you. I've sorted you out there. Go for it.
We're good. I'm good here. I'm still looking for paper for notes and my unmute button.
Excellent. We love a little bit of paper for notes.
I do that?
Paper for notes is helpful. John, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's good to be back on after my sabbatical with COVID last week. It's good to be back on. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, thank you for throwing that down to me. I've been dying of that all week, so hopefully
With love, Barry.
The other end of that now. So, yeah, cheers for sending that down the airwaves. And Ellie, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Just really busy now with the Euros and everything, but yeah, I'm really good now. Glad football's back.
I think we are all really pleased to see that football is indeed back. So we've just come literally off the back of Spain with a rather fantastic win, 4-1 in the end. And not a lot of people maybe saw that coming even before the game started, let alone as the game progressed. And after that goal from Finland, immediately, that was a bit of a moment. So we're just going to take a quick moment to see what our initial responses are to, number one, the result, and also to Battier and, of course, Garcia, who is somebody we've been linked with. Did we see anything in particular, gang, in that game that we thought was positive from them, and indeed our first thoughts of Spain? Marty?
Well, the first obvious thing is that Spain plays Ona on the other side. That does not mean that she's not as good as she is for us on, the left side. She was awesome. She almost got her goal. She had an amazingly sick move just before the goal. And if anybody hasn't watched it, I would rewatch the match just to see that, because it was just freaking amazing. I love Ona. I want her just to have her entire career at Man United. Okay. And I think that if they think they can get as good a fullback as Ona, as just tactically solid with speed and the ability to have offense to go with it, for a cheaper price than just paying her to continue, their two brain cells aren't connecting together, in my opinion. So Lucia Garcia, I liked her. I was watching. I was looking for her because I've heard all the rumors and everything. But she looked good. She looked speedy. She looked like she had depth. Looks like she could run with the ball. And hell, she had a header, clean one, real nice one. Had a real good zip to it, good direction, good positioning. She wasn't like she had to turn around and it was like, oh, excuse me. It was, this is what I'm doing, this is what I do, and this is what I'm really, really good at. So I'm all for that, very impressed by that. And boy, I just love Ona.
Excellent. Nelly, your thoughts?
Yeah, it was really good. I was actually not really excited, but when Finland scored, I was like, wow, I don't think none of us were expecting that. I wasn't anyway. I was like, wow. I was like, as if they've just done that. And then I think the game slows really down for them then Spain got back the pace up, and that was it. Then they went for it, and Lucia Garcia, I'm sorry, she's amazing. She would be an amazing signing for us. The speed she's got, the speed is just incredible that she's got. So she'll be an amazing signing for us if she does come. And then Anna, she did really good. She nearly scored, and it's just excellent. And obviously when Spain scored, I liked how they all went over to I can't say her name, Alexia or something.
Mateus.
Yeah, yeah. When they scored, just to show like sportsmanship, that obviously because she's injured, and they did it before the game when they was taking a picture. They put up a t-shirt of hers, so I thought that's really good sportsmanship as well. So overall, it was a really good game, I thought. And at first, it was like I think Spain were a bit nervous because they nearly had another goal. So overall, I think it was a good game. First, I thought Finland played really, really good, but then Spain just got back up to speed, and then that's it. Then.
Absolutely. And John, I don't think you watched quite as much as the rest of us did of that game, but what's your thoughts?
No, unfortunately, the game was started when I was finishing work. I had to drive home, and that's all. Unfortunately, I only caught the last 5 minutes of it. But I saw the penalty at the end, which was obviously a good penalty. Like Martinelli have said, it's good that I see who we've obviously been linked with. She's obviously scored a good goal today, and it's obviously good. It'll be interesting to see if we can get her in that. But it's good sign overall. I've been impressed with the tournament so far. It's 3 games in, some really good games. It's also good that you're getting good attendances as well, particularly the England game the other day and that. So, I'm impressed with the quality of the football I've seen so far, and it's only early on, and hopefully, as the tournament goes on, the football will only get better. It was a good win for Spain, and unfortunately, it cost me that opening goal for Finland because I predicted 4-0. But apart from that, it's a good start for Spain.
Never mind, John. You've done a rather fantastic job so far on the predictions. But also here, look at this. Connor laying down the hammer. And speaking of the hammer, we had 2 other players playing yesterday, and Borisa and Thor. And they also won 4-1 as well. So currently the United players unbeaten at Euro 2022. So let's hope that
Marriott's keeping a clean sheet as well. Only keepers keep a clean sheet so far.
True. And Connor's right as well. Tonight will be a really good game for Germany and Denmark, where we'll also get to see, potentially, Senior Brun, even if she is not with us as we speak. So, okay, well, enough about that. We've had quite a little chat there about the Euros, and we may end up popping back to it. We'll certainly mention the Prediction League that we have kicked off here on AFU as well towards the end. I'm sure we will get a little bit of time for that, but obviously we're conscious of the fact that that Germany game is going to be huge, and so we do want people to be able to settle in and watch that and not have to be listening to my dulcet tones, which would be good for me as well, because I don't know if I'll last the whole hour, but we'll see how we get on. So listen, you know what the thumb was all about today. It was a really important one as well. And that was about 2 different deals that potentially could be made. One that's confirmed, the club's confirmed it and sent everything through. One which has come from David Ornstein, which we've got no reason to disbelieve, but obviously has not been confirmed by the club. So let's start off with the confirmed, the definite, and talk a little bit about Ivana Fuso. Her future was left up in the air a little bit. We know now that she has gone away on loan, but she's also signed a contract that's extended till 23-24. So really, the first question is, how do we feel about that? How do we feel about Fuso running off, going to Bayer Leverkusen and having that opportunity? Because I think that's quite a good thing. But what do we think around the table? Ellie, what's your thoughts?
Well, my thoughts, do you know what? When I seen it, I thought, good on her that she's going to another team, because hopefully she can get more game time there, and then she can come back to us and be better than ever. Like, I know she started good, but she can be even more better, and for her age as well. I think she's only 21, isn't she, or something? So it's a really good move for her, I thought. I mean, it did come out again, like, out the blue, but I think we expected contracts to start unrolling now. So it's good that she's actually not leaving us. I said it on my post that she's United through and through then, if she's really not leaving us, because obviously she's been sat on the bench all season, really, and she's actually not even leaving us. So I thought that is impressive, that. So, do you know what? I'm not glad she's gone, but I'm glad that she's gone on loan so she can get more game time. And then, yeah, like I just said, then come back to us better than ever. So then Mark actually does say that, obviously, yeah, let's play Fuso on them, because she really is a really good player, I think. But I've just not seen enough playing. So hopefully this move will just gain her experience more and more. So do you know what I'm really, really happy for? That's why I'm really happy that she's gone on loan and she's still staying at United.
Fair enough. And as TJ has put here as well, he thinks it's the right thing for the player. Needs playing time for sure. Now, as we all know, we have never seen Marty and TJ in the same room at the same time. So I think I know what the answer is going to be to this. But Marty, do you agree with what you've written as TJ? I mean, do you agree with TJ in general? Is it the right thing for the player? Because she does need playing time. She wasn't getting it at United. So, there is certainly an argument this would be a good thing for her development going forward. Yes or no?
I concur that is the right thing for Ivana, because she is guaranteed, or theoretically is guaranteed, playing time. Now, is it the right thing for us as a club? I would have liked to have seen Ivana play. Okay, so what? So what? She's young. For God's sakes, Lauren Hemp is young. She's like 21, right? So what? I mean, since when did we get to a point where we've got a minimum age requirement to get onto the pitch? If you're good, you're good. Now, does that mean she won't make mistakes because she's young and hasn't quite learned all the, ins and outs of the passing and the crossing and how to fit and that? So what? You're basically saying go to Germany, learn how to play, and then you can come back and we'll put you in. Okay? Like, I'm sorry, but if someone said that to me, it'd be like, I'm good enough to have played in the Copa America. Okay? I'm really good in that when I play in your country games, I actually score. All right? And now you're telling me I got to go learn? It's like, well, let me go learn somewhere where they actually appreciate me. So maybe I'm not the voice of the I don't know, the favorables, but I live across a big ocean, so it'd be a while before you could actually get hold of me. Okay, so I feel safety in geographics, in the geography of it. I just don't think we're losing a lightning in a bottle. Okay, like Brune. Brune to me she was young, she had speed, she had guts, she was fearless. Fuso is fearless. When she attacks the 18-yard box, she's fearless in doing it. Okay, you need somebody like that. Okay, when you're young, you are totally fearless. You are willing to do stuff that any sane person would say, nah, you really shouldn't have done that. I mean, there's a reason why we get into trouble while we're stupid, young. And thankfully we survive. Okay, we don't kill ourselves in the meantime doing all these dumb things that we do. But so that's what I think. I think, yeah, it's great for her. And I think they've taken the position that they just don't want to. They want them developed to the point of getting to the team. And that once they're at the team, it's the player's responsibility to move forward. And if the player's not moving forward, they're not so much interested in keeping the developing.
It's a fair point. And hey, listen, I've said a million times before, Marty, that this channel is all about opinions. So it's entirely irrelevant whether you live in America or whether you live on Moss side or whether you live, across the road from me. It's entirely irrelevant where you are. opinions are opinions, and they're all absolutely fine, and nobody has to agree with anybody else. That's like literally the law. We're all entitled to our opinions, and they're always put across respectfully. So that's a wonderful thing. So don't worry too much about that, Marty. What I would say though, John, let's think a little bit as well about, from the management point of view, why do you think it is that Skinner's decided to put Fuso out on loan? Because, we all know, as I've said before, he will live and die by his decisions and what he chooses to do. Is there a possibility that he just doesn't trust Fuso enough yet, or he hasn't seen Fuso in game enough yet for him to be able to make that decision? So by sending him away on loan, he gets the chance to see her in a match environment. Or is it more of a case of that, Marty's right, actually, and we should just be saying, well, we need to give her that chance within the club, and put that faith in her and see if she can repay that. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting perspective. It could be tied into the news we've learned about Parris. Now, Parris, obviously, we'll get into that in a moment. But I think with Fuso she hasn't really had much game time. But clearly, we see there's talent in her because we have given her a new contract. We have seen there's potential there. I think at this moment, when she has come off the bench, like you say, she hasn't played much time. She's done okay when she's come off, but she hasn't exactly done anything to suggest, oh, wow, what an amazing play at this moment. She's done well. But one of the big concerns we have is when we look at our starting 11 is quite good. But then it's the strength in depth. And there's been times where we have had fast starts when we've gone 3-0 up, 4-0 up, in the first half and that. And then in the second half, we start time when we start bringing these players on. There's not the same... trying to think of the word. There's not the same, I wouldn't say effort, but the same commitment to trying to score a load more kind of thing. Maybe that's to do with quality. And I think also with Fuso is that she's only young, and young players, they peak at different times, players, Marty mentioned Lauren Hem, she is young and she's done very well, but maybe Fuso might peak in a couple of years' time. Who knows? And I think this is the question with United is we clearly see talent in her, but maybe they think at this moment in time, it'd be better for her to get some first team experience elsewhere, to build herself up. And then maybe when she comes back to us in a year's time, she might become a better player and she might become more of a starter and that kind of thing and be involved more. It's interesting. The Bayer Leverkusen link, or that's where she's going to go. Maybe she might have been better off going to a lower team in the WSL or someone to get that experience in British football and that kind of thing. But it's interesting they've gone with Bayer Leverkusen. I'm not sure whether it's the right move for her. Only time will tell. But for me, it's on the basis... in my eyes, that Skinner thinks at this moment she's not quite there yet, and she's better off going somewhere to play first team football, and then maybe in a year or two we'll then be able to say, right, you're ready for the first team, but only time will tell.
It's interesting you should say that, because I think a lot about loan signings in general and whether or not they do actually come back and get given that chance. And I think probably the most high-profile player who went off on loan, had a good season, then came back and actually got into the team and did well would probably be someone like David Beckham on the men's side. I'm struggling on the women's side to think of anyone who's gone off, had a really good loan period, and then as a result has come back to their home club and been given that opportunity to shine, I suppose, really. One word answers from everyone. If we were to put our hands on our hearts and think about it, do we think Ivana Fuso comes back after her loan period with Bayer Leverkusen we'll assume it was a good loan period. Do we think if she comes back, she's put into the starting lineup, she's given the chance to perform again with United? Or could this be the last we've seen of her? So yes or no? Will she be backing in the squad or not? And I'm going to kick off with, because of this one tweet, I'm just going to put it in here. It's a tweet. It's not a tweet, of course, but because of this, we're going to kick off with you, Ellie, the legend. Yes or no?
This is too me. It's tense again. This. My heart wants to say yeah, but my heart just want to say yeah, but I don't know, because if you bring players in, that's it. She won't get a chance on the pitch. But of course, I love her to bits. She's really good. I know she is, but I just can't see it really. No.
Okay, John, yes or no?
No.
Marty, yes or no? Oh, so hard to tell what the words are when I can't hear them. Was that yes or a no? I couldn't see that
Hold
either.
it. I have a question. I need clarification. She's going to Bjorn, right?
She's going to where, sorry?
What club she's going to? Bern.
Bayern Leverkusen.
Is that Bayern?
Not Bayern Munich, no, Bayern Leverkusen.
It's like
Lower tier?
Probably fourth, fifth biggest team in Germany.
Okay, so nowhere near the CL, right? Champions League.
I don't think they've been in the Champions League, no.
Okay. No.
No. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Right, we got there after the clarification. That was all good. So, apparently you're all over the place now, Ellie. So, yeah, she's on the news everywhere. Wow. So, I'm amazed that we managed to get her in, actually, on the diary and everything. So, all good fun. Well, listen, I think either way, whichever way we look at it, every United fan is hoping that Ivana does go off, have a really successful season, and then does come back and is able to show us everything that she is capable of doing. So we certainly know that. But of course, the transfer stories don't end there, and all of this has been tied in with the news from David Ornstein that Manchester United women may indeed be purchasing, and say it quietly, Nikita Parris. There is talk that it could be for money, so we are actually paying a fee for her. And there's been lots already. I mean, you guys in the comments are already talking about it. You were talking about it before we could even get there. And so we'll just take a quick look at what you guys have said. Rob Ron again wants Garcia to come to us, but he's worried that they won't sign another one if Keats, Williams and Clinton come. Obviously, that's three people that are unconfirmed by the club, but of course could potentially turn up. Of course, we've got TJ, who echoes what I know that Marty will say at some point today, that we are going to need a centre-half. And I think we all agree with this. We all want a centre-back somewhere. So that would be handy. But I think, the really interesting thing here, we've spoken about the budget a lot. That's been mentioned quite a lot today. But I think the question really that I want to kick off with is this. Nikita Parris could turn up. She could well come to the club. If she did turn up at Manchester United Women, I suppose we'll kick off immediately with what's your thoughts. Do you think that that's a good signing or not? And I will preface all of this by saying there's been 2 polls run that I've seen so far. And on both of those polls, it's tight. It is tight between fans that think it's a good signing and fans that don't think it's a good signing. So it's not exactly one way or the other here. So I'm very intrigued to see if that sort of 50-50, 60-40 split is running here in this room as well. So we'll go same way around. Ellie, do you think good signing, not a good signing? What's your thoughts?
In one sentence, I'll just say I will judge when we see her play, like I said to you, because what I've seen all day on Twitter is, oh yeah, why are you bringing her in? Why her? Why are we bringing her in? Like I said, it's about judging when she plays on that pitch. There's no point going, oh yeah, she'll be a rubbish player for us now. That's it. No, let's not bring her in. She'll be rubbish. No, it's about judging when she plays, not even when it's not confirmed. Because all I've seen all day is, yeah, we can't have her. We can't have her. Even we know full well she's on Twitter, just like we said last week about all the abusive and all that. No, it might not be abusive, but it can hurt. It can hurt really. So I think she'll be good for United. I know people may disagree with me, but I think let's see how she plays first, because there's no point ranting and raving over saying no, let's not bring her, and all these Skinners out as well. It's really doing my head in, because Skinner is actually such a good manager. I think he is. So when some of the fans won't think about oh no, not her, why is getting her in? That's it. Everyone goes off. Oh yeah, Skinner needs to get out. We don't want to be in the same position as we was when Casey left, do it, and then we're looking for a new manager again. My rant's over about that anyway. But yeah.
Okay. Well, as you can see already, there have been lots of things thrown out by a lot of the other people in the comments, and it is mixed. It is mixed. There's no getting away from this, is there, John? That ultimately, this is a very mixed reaction to a signing that's not confirmed, as we've said. It's still not been sent across by the admin bods at United. I think this is a very big question. The world knows that I've been hashtag Hansen in since my very first appearance on this channel. And I very much remain that way. I'm still a fan of Hansen, but I think, do we think that this is one of those where we can argue she's got the experience, she's played before at a high level, she's played for Lyon, who are a really good side, and she had good numbers for that. There's questions over whether or not she should have got more than she actually did. But I think something like 39 goals or something in 50 appearances or something around that sort of number. I mean, what's your thoughts on Parris as it stands?
I think it's an interesting one because I've said I'm not personally Parris's biggest fan. But we've been crying out for strength in depth for a while, and obviously she hasn't had the best season at Arsenal. And she didn't suit their style and that kind of thing. She can be frustrating at times, and that. However, and I think at times like the decision making isn't always the best from what I've seen. However, she has got talent. And she's played for City, she's played for Lyon, she's played for Arsenal, she's played for some quality teams, and clearly people see something in her if she's played for all those teams and that. Now, she has had a bad season or two. She's 28 years old in the prime of her career, ages 26 to 30 to be a footballer's prime years usually. And she has had a bad couple of years, but it's one of them that coming to United might help kickstart a career, maybe, and if it does, that's only to our benefit. We do need players on that right-hand side. We've been playing, as you mentioned, Hansen hasn't really had game time, Fuso hasn't really had game time. And we've had to play Martha Thomas there at times, and clearly, whether it's Skinner's decision, I mean, obviously would have approved the decision, but we don't know whether it's a player he identified and say she's key to my system, or whether it's, well, this is the best available Skinner. What do you want her or not? It might be a case of Parris or nothing. So in that scenario, you probably would say Parris. If he says that she's key to my plans and that kind of thing, I personally, like some people, would have concerns about that. However, I do think that he does need to be backed, and I don't get people who are calling for him to go and that. Yeah, you can criticise certain decisions and that kind of thing. There have been times I've criticised him for some decisions, but he did come in late last summer. He's had a decent first season, not great, but not terrible. He does deserve an opportunity to see how he can do in his first real summer as a manager. So for me, it's an interesting one. I'm a little bit lukewarm about it, but if she is going to come, we should 100% back her and wish her well. And that's what we do at United. I do think we should back every player that we sign. Every person deserves a chance when they get a new career or a new opportunity and that. So, yeah, that's my view on it.
It's really interesting things going on in the in the chat. I mean, we've got people here saying that we have to purchase United fans, which I'm struggling a little bit with, because I've had a lot of arguments today as to reasons for why you would buy certain people. But for it to have to be a fan, I'm not convinced that has to be in the criteria. I'd much rather, I mean, yes, it's lovely if they love the club. I fully agree with that. It does add to a little bit of it. But I don't think they necessarily have to be a fan, would be my thoughts on that one. But again, Marty, as we start to come over to you, let's just take a moment just to look at the numbers as they stand, because if we just take her last season at Man City, she scored 22 goals that I'm seeing there in 23 matches. That's using the WSL and the WSL Cup. And within that, there were 7 assists as well. When you then take her to Lyon, you're talking about the next season, 12 goals in 21 appearances. You then look in 2020, 2021, 15 goals in 26 appearances. Now, obviously, when you get to Arsenal, you then start looking at 2 goals in 21 appearances. So I don't think there's anybody in the world who is looking at last season and saying, based on those statistics from last season, Nikita Parris is the sort of player that Manchester United women need to bring in. Having said that, though, the fact that she performed well at Lyon, the fact that she's performed well at Man City, the fact that she's an England international, albeit on the subs bench at the moment, I know that through the last few months, we've been talking a lot about experience, winners, people that know what it takes to get across that line. Do you think there's any possibility that this does fit that description or not? What do you think?
I think she was a very good player in the WSL. She scored 50 goals. She liked the WSL. She wanted to spread her wings and see really how good she was worldwide. She got the offer to Lyon. And frankly, if you're a top player and Lyon offers you a contract, you're going to go. Okay? Up until Barca started really their run recently, Lyon was the place to be if you are a top soccer player. Okay? I would not say that her Lyon 2 years at Lyon was a success, comparatively speaking to strikers at Lyon. Lyon has very, very little competition beyond PSG. And even then, PSG's only been in the last couple of years. So, let's see. Assist goals. I'm just looking up starts, 24 minutes, goals. Okay. For example, Kat Macario of the U.S. went over to Lyon. So she had 7 games. She had 7 starts. She scored 5 goals. She had second season. She had 18 starts, 20 games, 20 appearances, and she scored 14. She scored 14 goals. Okay, so she's scoring much more of what Lyon strikers are expected to score. So I think her time at Lyon was a little shortened by Lyon. My understanding is she was on the bench initially, even though they preferred to her being there. Now that being said, she came back to WSL. Now, City didn't need her. okay? Because by this time they had Lauren Hemp, they had Ellen White had come over there, and they just didn't need her. She wanted to score her 50th goal. She wants to get in shape. Um, she wants to be active. She wants to be a top soccer player, top football player. Excuse me. So she went to Arsenal. She got signed. My understanding, she got signed at Arsenal before Jonas came in. So Jonas comes in. They get Mana. They get Tobin. Okay. Then they're signing Blackstenius. They got Caitlin Ford. And the amount of minutes that Nikita Parris had when she came in, she did not make an immediate impact. She was not a come off the bench and score within like 2 minutes. And because she wasn't having an immediate impact and she was missing a lot, okay, like really, really like open net pass, like pass to her and was just missing it. She wasn't getting the minutes. Okay. She did get her 50th goal. And I honestly believe that when you're going for a milestone as a professional athlete, you put so much pressure on yourself that it's like it just becomes even more difficult to get. Okay. So now she's got her 50th goal. There's the Women's World Cup next year. She needs to get minutes. She needs to prove to Serena Wigman that she belongs on the England national team, because I do not think that her slot is sewn up, because there are other strikers who are really, really young strikers who could easily displace her, because she's not a starter on the England national team anymore. She was in 2019, but I would not say she is now. I don't think you're going to see her starting in the Euros unless it's against a team where, it's a slam dunk and they need to rest the other players. So what I do think is that what Parris wants is to be the best player and the marquee signing for Manchester United, okay? Because she has to prove herself and she has to keep her spot on that English national team. The World Cup is next year. She can't lose that slot in her mind, okay? She's already gotten her 50th goal, and Mark has had to have explained to her how she's going to fit in his system. I think she could be, and the same thing said for Leon. Okay, I watched Leon the other night. Canada is playing the CONCACAF, and Leon's open, but they're not passing to her. Okay, they're passing to Heidema, Grosso, and Becky. Okay, Leon's open, and I think Leon wants to prove to Bev Priestman, that she belongs as a starter on the Canadian national team. And if you have two very motivated internationals, at least in my mind, from an American point of view, those are the people you want to give the ball to, because they will go through people in order to score the goal. So actually, I don't think it's a bad
really good
signing.
point. Sorry, Marty, to jump in, but that's a really good point you've just brought in there, because we've spoken a lot about the experience, spoken about a lot of things there, but we are a team that, as we well know, it's well publicised, to finish fourth over the last 3 years. So actually, when you're talking about that hunger and that desire to get across the line and make it into the Champions League, as you've just said, two players who could potentially have something else to fight for other than just let's get United to third and into the Champions League, that's a real thing, isn't it? That even the likes of Hansen, Fuso going off to Bayer Leverkusen, all of these players are being given the opportunity to prove that they deserve to play for Manchester United and they deserve to be at the level that we're aiming for, which is pretty much what you're saying, isn't it?
Yeah, I just think that they're parallel. It's sort of like, they may not be coming in to be full-fledged Man United people, although I will say Leon is absolutely thrilled to be the first Canadian to play for Manchester United. Okay. But I got to say, I don't care. I really don't care if they're Man United fans. What I care about is that when they get on the pitch and they're in the dressing room, they treat all their teammates as family, and they are all in on whatever it is Mark's system is to win. And they don't be a distraction. You know, it's like you work your hardest, your work rates, because those are the people we want at Man United, in my opinion. And I'm new to it, but I respect the players that we have. I love the players that we have. Okay. I don't want to see their minutes get diminished, but I also want to see us grow stronger. And if this is going to give us depth in those positions, then it gives us depth in those positions. Sure, they're not the top 2%. If you're going to go along and you're going to say top 2%, you're not going to get Leon. I'm sorry, you're just not going to get it. You're going to get Heidema, you're going to get Becky, and you're going to get Grosso. Those are the up and coming ones. Okay. Leon is a solid player, but just doesn't get the, doesn't have the bright light shown down on her. Okay. She's not spotlighted. Okay. She wants to be. I could, because I'm looking around and everybody's celebrating, and yes, she's celebrating with her teammates. But I know I could just tell damn well she wanted that pass, and she was open. She was open at least twice. She had 3 opportunities, and she was making passes. She was working hard. It was a good work rate by her. I was pretty impressed. And normally I notice players, but in this time I looked for her because she's coming to Man United. Parris, I've watched Parris for a number of years. Heck, she believes. I mean, we're always playing England. Parris doesn't, I look at Parris and I'm just going, okay, she's a striker. She's got goals, but she needs to clean up on the final, on the attacking third. She really needs to clean it up.
Yes.
The number of goals she could have had this past season and the number of minutes it could have bought her. The whole difference between Parris and Ford was putting him in the back of the net and Parris wasn't. So Ford got the time. Ford got the appearances. She got the starts. She got the subs in, not Parris.
Yeah.
For that reason. And you can't blame Jonas. It's like you play the players who could perform for you. So
I think that seems pretty fair.
Every reason to succeed. Every reason. So I like it.
I think the other thing you got to factor in is that she's not guaranteed starts for England. She's not guaranteed starts for Arsenal, but she probably will be a guaranteed starter for United if she's fit as well.
But isn't this the thing? That there's no such thing as a guarantee? I mean, you'll enjoy this one, Martin.
Well, there's no guarantee, but because there is a gap on the right-hand side of United, and I think that's probably somewhere she'll look like, more likely to get game time at United than Arsenal. But she might also think that, we're not in the top 3. We've got to close that gap with City, Chelsea and Arsenal. But she might think in her own mind, United are the 4th best team. If there's any team that's going to break into it on current trajectory, it would be United. And she might look at it and think, I could be the person to kickstart my career again at United, could be the person who gets us in the top 3, potentially, and that's
let's be honest, John, okay? Yeah. If we have an opportunity to get into Champions League, okay? Yeah. And Nikita Parris is putting us there by a strike, okay? You could easily see it, okay? Yeah. It's a pass from Tooney, a pass from KZ, and she strikes it, and that's what puts us in the Champions League, okay? She's Man United for life.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not saying it will happen, but she, in her own mind, that's what she needs. As far as I'm concerned, we have parallel desires, okay, and parallel goals. She wants to be the absolute best player to get what she wants in the national team. Fine. We're giving her opportunity. The difference is Jonas was not going to stay with her. He wasn't going to give her multiple chances because he had Champions League play. He had Conti Cup play. He had Arsenal in a good position, okay, to win the league last year. All right. He just wasn't good. He just didn't have the patience. He couldn't keep putting her out there and her keep failing. So her minutes diminished. Others kept going up. Okay. So, Mark can be a little bit more patient because we don't have Champions League. We don't have those extra games on our schedule. So he could be a little bit more patient.
But the question I'm really wanting to throw in in between all of this is that we've had so many people suggested as potential wingers now. We're speaking very much about Leon, who we know is signed. We're talking about Parris might be coming. We just spoke about Garcia at the beginning of the broadcast, and the fact that they might potentially want to come in as well. Rachel Williams is someone who's been mentioned. There's lots of people being mentioned at the moment, and that's why I've kept Jonathan's comment on here as well. Galton, Russo, Parris is a better front three than Galton, Thomas, Russo, and I think this is the key thing, really, isn't it? Which we mentioned as well. We've still got Hansen. Carrie Jones has been mentioned in the comments as well as being somebody who's still there. Is this not what we were asking for? The opportunity to have depth on the one hand, but on the other hand, is there such a thing as too much depth? Are we going to get to a position where we've just got so many people that you can't keep all of them happy, and so therefore that can have a negative reaction? Ellie, what's your thoughts?
Well, in order to succeed, we need depth, don't we? In order to succeed and go to the next level, like top three. Because I'm not. Come on, I think we all know we need to get that top three spot this season. Otherwise, that's it. We'll be known as a failure of a team, because we've been in the fourth spot for 3 seasons. So we do need depth, we do. But like you just said, we don't need too much, do we? Because then that's it. If we get too much, and then there's all players coming in, and then they just get benched all the time, that's it. Then they're going to say, no, we don't want that. We want to get out and get played and have minutes on the pitch. So, to be honest, I think we do need depth and everything, but I worry if we've got too much now, or if we will get too much, because we can't satisfy everyone. We all know that we can't satisfy everyone. Like Hansen, she doesn't get really that much minutes, Hansen, but obviously she's still here, but she's not regular on the pitch, is she? So I don't know. We just need depth, but just not that much, not too much. That's what I'm saying.
And again, he's coming with another fantastic point there. We need depth, but it has to have quality over numbers. John, we'll throw it back over to you again there. I mean, we've got that many people that are being linked, that are potentially going to be coming along. Do you see a starting front three based out of the names that have been mentioned?
Yeah, I think so. And I think you can sometimes have too much talent, but you can also have too little talent. I've mentioned that what Arsenal, City and Chelsea have is they can virtually pick 2 teams a lot of the time, and you get a similar amount of quality. For United, our first 11 is very good. But then when you start making the changes, how many changes do you make before it starts having an effect on the quality? 3 or 4 maybe, So that's why I think you've got to have the strength in depth. And this is possibly why we are signing someone like Parris. She might be hit and miss, but she's certainly someone who's got quality. And I do think she does strengthen our right on the side. But I do think, you've got talent in a load of positions up front. You got Mark Thomas, you got Russo, you got Golson, you got Hansen, if we get Parris. Leon, I've not seen much of. If we get that Garcia, we're adding quality, but we've also, as Marty and others are mentioning, you need to focus on building the back line as well. You need to get a couple of defenders. And I do think the secret tennis book says you need 2 quality players for each position, on the outfield if you want to succeed in that, just so you can push players on to improve themselves. And if they're in a bad game, you can replace them with someone who can do a good job and that kind of thing. So, yes, I think there's enough talent there, but I think you could do with adding a little bit more. So, yeah.
And I know, Marty, you mentioned about the fact we need a centre back. We're talking all this at the moment about the front end of the pitch, and we do know we needed to score more goals. That was one of the issues from last season. But equally, we ended up playing players out of position and putting them into defence. Are you worried about the fact that there's not been much of a talk about, or much of a conversation rather, about centre backs being linked with the club, and that it's all about, these wing positions and up front?
Well, somebody reached out to me today to point blank tell me that Man United has been in talks with a French defender. So I've got my fingers crossed on that one. This is my worry: is we have Mannion, who's very good. Yes, that's the one. That's the one. And so I absolutely have my fingers crossed. Mannion has been hurt. When she got hurt, and initially it was a knock, and then nobody was saying anything, and we didn't get any information on it. Next thing I know, she's got surgery. It's major. She's out for the season. Okay. What we call a SEI in the NWSL. It's a season-ending injury. Okay. We got Diane Caldwell in, who was awesome. She was a wall when she was here, when she was playing, when she was healthy, but she got a knock. And so she was injured. I will say Haley Ladd, shout out for her. God love her, because she stepped in and she played like, a center back. Okay. Millie went out early, and horrid injury in my mind, because I watched that and I was just like, I just couldn't see a patella like that. Okay. I'm sorry. I watched it once and never watched it again. So that was a season-ending injury. So she's coming back. So Maria has been stalwart, but if there are some cases sometimes where Maria tends to get a little rattled. All right. So is she, a number one, center back in my mind? No, but she's solid. She's been good for us, and she doesn't get hurt. Or if she gets hurt, she just can handle it. Do I think that if we have two serious leg injuries coming back, that they should be playing all 90 minutes of every match from the beginning of the season to the end of the season? Absolutely not. Okay. We do need other people to back them up. So the fact that we're linked to at least one person, I'm happy about. I would sort of like to see at least two more, or at least somebody who could do that job, and they can do another job. You could slot them in there, but they could also play fullback. Okay, something like that. I don't know if they exist, but maybe they do. So yeah, that bothers me. With regards to our forwards, I guess I just like the idea that this season, with all these forwards, I would expect that we have, a complement of at least 5 healthy forwards for every match. And anybody who has a little bit of a dip in performance, almost like what in baseball it's called a dead arm, where you just get tired and you're not producing as much, or you've lost a bit of step. It's just a matter of rest. You just need the rest. That we have somebody slot them in. Okay. So I look forward to that, because we haven't been able to avoid injuries. That's for sure. Yes, I like Amy. I'm going to miss Amy. Orlando's coming up, and she's in England, and I'm sad.
It would be nice if she came in. It would be nice, and
I want her to come to the Orlando Pride game, so that way I could say hello.
Have you heard Marty anything regarding her leaving Orlando at all?
Oh, why?
Yeah.
I have my theories, and the reason I have my theories is because nobody's saying anything, and she's not part of Discovery. In the NWSL, you can have a discovery for a person. So if you allow the player to leave, like you basically said, okay, this isn't working out. You go your way, we'll go our way. And it's just, they are being able to be discovered, quote the discovery, by another team. Okay. That was withheld. So they bought out her contract, and they will not, they made it so that there is no discovery on her, which means she can't play for another team against them this season. Okay. So essentially, they paid for her whole year and she's just on a vacation.
But she could potentially come back to WSL, though.
She can. I mean, there's nothing that stops that for Darnshire, you know.
Be interested to see what.
I just want her to show up at the Orlando game so I could say hi.
There you go.
She could sit with me while I'm watching them play.
So with regards to this, John, it's a rumour. All rumours at the moment, unless it's confirmed by the club, it's always a rumour. You can have strong rumours, you can have not so strong rumours, but it is definitely just that at the moment. But I do think, again, here's another answer. Grace Clinton, we know, is wide forward. And Rob Ron, it tells us a little bit more there about Tinkara. But I just think at the moment, the way that the conversation has gone, it's very interesting. And it certainly does show that there's still ambition even amongst the fans. And I suppose I wanted to just kind of finish this section just by asking. We saw Skinner write in the United Unscripted part about Manchester United potentially going unbeaten. It's all trying to go unbeaten, trying to win the league. But we're also very clear and very aware that, as we've just said, we're not necessarily in a position where you can buy that top 2%. You're not going to get those top 2% in because they all want to be playing Champions League. So that's a really difficult one to get. Based on the names that have been mentioned and everything else that we've got, do we think that we have a team that could potentially challenge for the top 3 going forward? Ellie?
Everyone's gonna not start me, but I think of course we do. Like we have young squad as well. Like no, we can't have that crap no more. That new team because that doesn't work now really. So I think we do. Of course we do. We just need to have that mentality that we can actually do it, especially this season. We need all the fans behind the girls, no matter what. Even if Paris just does come. Be behind her. That's what I'm saying. Be behind her. Because there's no point slagging her off this and that. Because at the end of the day, if she's going to be one of our players, she's one of ours. She's not like... We just can't moan about it. So, I think, we will push for that third spot. Or even go higher this season. I really do think so.
And as I've said since day dot, John, when Mark Skinner purchases players, he lives and dies by those decisions. So if he decides that Nikita Parris is the person that's going to take us to the top 3 and doesn't, then that's the time, is it not, to have a go at Mark Skinner and say, well, look, this is what you chose to do. These are the decisions you made. It's not working. Rather than now, perhaps, when we're prior to it all and it's all just guesswork at the moment because, the people that think she could be good could be right. The people that think she could be terrible could be right. What's your thoughts, John?
Yeah, definitely. Every manager lives and dies by their decisions, and obviously we focusing on, as upset that we haven't signed a defender or 2 yet at the moment. With the signings are now. I know Paris hasn't been announced, but it's looking good anyway. But yeah, it all comes down to. He's approved these signings. Whether he gets much choice, as in you either get this player or you get no one, then it's we don't know the working of conversation now. But yes, ultimately he's approved signings and he's identified players which are critical to him building a team. And ultimately, success can only be assessed on how he performs long term. I would say he had a decent first season, nothing more, nothing less. But this season is that right. Let's see progress. You're starting to form your own high now this window. So let's see how you can progress there. Because obviously we're not touched upon it, but there are certain players who might stay. Like your Russos, your owners, if they do stay. Champions League football is what you're going to need to have to keep them, if they do decide to stay and that kind of thing. So he's got a big season coming up and every signing is on him. where team plays is on him. And also, where we finish is on him ultimately. And, he does deserve to be backed, and he'll either succeed or he'll fail. And, I think this time next year we'll have a better idea, won't we?
Absolutely. And Marty, I know that you're a questions Skinner. I think it would be fair to say at certain points over the course of the last season, based on the names that are being linked with the club, do you think there is the potential for top 3 next season?
I think it depends upon whether a system works. We haven't really seen it. I think he tried to implement it, and then things went a little off rails, and so therefore he pulled back and did a hybrid. And so this is his first transfer season where the players he's bringing in, even if they're we can't afford who you want, Mark, but these, this is still on your list, okay? So, these are the players that are supposed to slot in to what he wants to do and how he wants to do it, and we'll see if it works, Of course, I have my concerns, I'm not exactly sure, even if we succeed, that I'll ever be a fan of this guy, okay? Because he really just, laid a turd in the U.S., but, Hey, that was polite.
Such a way with words.
but I want us to succeed. I want Man United to succeed. I want us to get to Champions League. I want us to be able to, to get bigger, in terms of, in terms of who we can play, how we can play, because we've got great players. I mean, Tuni and Russo and Earps right now are on the biggest stage that they've been on. I mean, Earps went to Women's World Cup in 2019, but I don't think she ever hit the pitch, except for practice. Now she is just stopping everything, I mean, she's just straight up a wall, okay? Tuni is going to be shining. Russo's going to be shining. And they are no different than the Leon coming in or the Parris coming over, okay, to my mind, okay? It's just that they've only been homegrown, and so they haven't, how like you go to college and come back, okay? They haven't had that maturity because they've only been at home, so that's how I see it. That's how I view it. Although Russo did go to college for a year and then came back. She went to UNC. So we'll see how his system works,
Absolutely.
Jason's pretty proud of his system, so,
And it's the right thing to do, isn't it? You've got to judge someone based on the fruits of their decisions, I suppose, really, than just on the decision itself. So we shall see.
You all said it's like this is his first full season coming up, this is his first full, that it's on him, and it's not like a Casey leftover, or he didn't have enough prep time or any of that stuff. So now in terms of what he says and what he does, I think he dreams a bit and his mouth just keeps talking. Okay, so like when he's saying about going undefeated and things like that, I think that's like blue sky dreaming in Mark's mind, and he forgets that he's speaking at the time. So.
But we want ambition, don't we? Is there not an element for that?
We want ambition. We don't want delusions.
Well, yeah, but sometimes is that as well. I sometimes think I can hit six fat. I think that ship may have sailed. Okay, listen, it's been a lovely conversation once again. We had a great time. Thank you everyone in the comments again. I have a one-word answer question with regards to, because today also was the day that the new kit for Manchester United was dropped. And I just basically wanted to ask a very simple question, which was, did you enjoy it? Did you like it? Is it a good kit? And controversially, is it the sort of kit that you think you might wish to purchase? If we can just take window cleaners out of the equation and just concentrate on how the shirt looks for now, that would be fabulous. So, Ellie, what's your thoughts?
Love it. I've already ordered like 2 of them this morning. So yeah, I love it. It looks really good on the girls, I think. And that collar, it just does it, because I've seen today that they wore the collar back when it was a really good season. So hopefully it can be a season for both the men and the women with the collar.
Let's
Hopefully.
hope so. Let's hope so. John, what's your thoughts? You like the kit?
It's not one of my favourites, but it looked. I think it looked better on the girls than the men. Put it that way. But I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the white one. Actually, I think the white one I quite like. So I do prefer that one. But yeah, it's okay. It's a shirt.
And Marty, your thoughts? I mean, we had, and I do have to say, I remember the conversation that we had before with regards to how easy or difficult it was to go online and order it. And I know that Ellie had.
I did this morning.
Trying to find it before she finally got what she wanted. But what's your thoughts, Marty? Do you like it or not?
I don't care. I don't get why they put out new kits every year. I mean, don't care. I think the only reason to put out a new kit is if you got a new sponsor, you got to change the front of the shirt. Other than that, I think it's just a way for them to make a profit. And if they're not going to spend money on the players, why should I pay them? I don't. I'm sort of like, well, what's the deal here? On the other hand, to be very forthcoming, I grew up a Yankee fan, and the Yankees haven't changed their uniforms since I think 1912. So it's Yankees pinstripes.
I preferred it in the day before the Glazers, where you used to have the home kit for 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I would prefer to go back to that. But
it's become
about the money, I agree.
Yeah. So I'm sorry, I don't really have a good opinion on it. I did see that there's
I should have gone the other way around. I knew I should have gone.
That's about it.
As for the comment, it's an outfit. It's not an overall. It's not an overall. It's a football kit.
So there we go. So some will buy it, some won't. Some like Paris, some don't. Some think that
some like Paris with 1 hour, some like it with 2 hours.
Some people prefer Milan. Who knows? I don't know. Listen, we're never going to solve anything on one of these shows. What I do know is that I've had a fabulous evening chatting with you guys. You really helped me to feel just that little bit better today. Denmark, I think, have just hit the bar.
Yep.
So
Germany.
Germany.
10 minutes gone, it's still 0-0. I think we need to get there. There we go. Germany almost scored. Yeah. Thank you, James of Flatbush. If you could have sent that just 30 seconds earlier, that would have saved me looking.
They've got a free kick now.
But there we go. So, as ever, thank you very much to my panel for coming along. Excellent to have you, Marty, John, and Ellie. Thank you everyone in the comments for joining us. As ever, it's been a delight. I'm sure we've got plenty more coming up. I'm sure there'll be more on the Paris situation. And of course, England are on Monday. So I'm sure there's going to be a match reaction to that on Tuesday. But until then, you guys have yourself an absolutely fan-dabby-dozy weekend and enjoy the Euros.